right, guys, I'm going to talk to you about chapter 5.1, Essentials for Health. Learning objective 1 is list the 6 classics of nutrients and explain the primary functions of each. Foods and beverages provide the chemicals needed to maintain the body's tissues. And we have nutrients, we have nutrients and macronutrients, okay? The two other groups, vitamins and minerals, are needed in smaller amounts, and they're called the micronutrients. The digestive process, basically when you eat a food, it's going to go down your esophagus into your sphincter tube. It's going to go into the large intestine, the small intestine, and it's going to go out the rectum and the anus. Okay, it takes about 24 hours to digest your food. Okay, recommended intakes for nutrients. In the next sections, we'll discuss, these guidelines, the dietary references. Okay, dietary references intakes, and identify the amounts of each nutrient most Americans. Now, recommended is basically, let's say, for example, they recommend for you to take 1 apple a day. They're recommending for you guys to have 1 apple because it has vitamins and nutrients and fiber and stuff like that. So they recommend for you to take certain vitamins, okay? Adequate is basically what is enough, what is sufficient and adequate for you, okay? What is adequate intake, okay? Enough for you. All right. Tolerable, how much your body can take. Tolerable upper level intake is how much your body can take. Acceptable is how much your body can actually withstand. What can your body can, for you to reduce the risk factor. Okay. So a calorie is a unit of energy. Okay. Energy is defined as the capacity to do work. All right. And, basically you lead a sedentary lifestyle. That means that you're just not exercising. You do limited to no exercise at all, or as opposed to you lead an active workout. If you are leading a sedentary lifestyle, you need about 1,800 calories a day, as opposed to an active lifestyle, you need about 2,600 calories a day. Water is needed for hydration. 50 to 70% of your body weight comes from water. Okay, and that depends by each person. All right, we need our water. There's situations where the person needs additional fluids to avoid dehydration. That would be, your electrolytes and stuff like that. Okay, excessive water can pose a serious threat for a hyponatremia, condition characterized by low blood levels of the mineral sodium. Sodium is essential for the transmission of nerve impulses. Sodium outside the cells balance potassium in the fluids to keep the cells properly hydrated. So you need your sodium, your electrolytes. Proteins are the most abundant compounds in the human body. In fact, proteins are major components of all living cells. And you can get your proteins in your beef, chicken, nuts, legumes, seafood, and the building block for amino acids, proteins are amino acids. Okay. Complete proteins, dietary proteins that supply all the essential amino acids are called complete proteins. Typically, proteins from animal products completed, and soy and quinoa completed as well. Incomplete proteins are from plant sources. Okay. However, it's easy to combine plant sources to produce a complete protein meal. Okay. The American daily recommendation for protein is 10 to 35% of all your calories. Okay, know your protein sources. Again, beef, chicken, fish, nuts, and legumes. Carbohydrate is supplies with energy that we need every day for normal activity. You need it about 60% of your dietary intake. Your body gets glucose. Okay. Comparison to proteins or fat, carbohydrates break down more quickly and efficiently, yielding a fuel called glucose. That's for energy, and that's used in the glycolysis product. Okay, simple carbohydrates, simple sugars are found naturally in fruits, vegetables, and dairy. The most common form of simple carbohydrates is glucose. Fruits and berries contain fructose, commonly called fruit sugar. Monosaccharides, a combination of two yield disaccharides. The most common examples are sucrose, lactose found in milk products, and maltose, malt sugar. Eventually, the human body converts all types of sugars to glucose to provide energy for cells. So you have all the different types of sugars. Complex carbohydrates called polysaccharides are formed by long chains of glucose, starches, and glycogen that are main complex of carbohydrates. Starches make up the majority of the complex carbohydrate groups and come from cereals, breads, pastas, rice, corn, oats, barley, potatoes, legumes, starchy vegetables, and related foods, which can easily be absorbed by cells and used by energy and stored in the liver as glycogen. So you're ready to burn that in the form of exercise. Well, when you exercise, you burn it out. Sometimes referred to fiber or roughage is the indigestible portion of food that helps move foods through the intestines, reduce absorption of cholesterol, and surges in blood. Okay. Fiber is either soluble or insoluble, such as pectins, gums, mucilage dissolved in water, forms and gel substances, can easily be digested in bacteria in the colon. Whole grains, they are found in fruits, vegetables, and grains such as brown rice, whole grains, pastas, cereals. The AMDR is 45-65%. And then you have the anatomy of a whole grain. You have the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. That's the anatomy of the fiber. Fiber is needed at least 30 grams a day for proper digestion. Whole grains, okay, are good for you, and it helps you lower your cholesterol. Although commonly referred to as fat, cholesterol is technically a sterile, oily substance found in both plant and animal cells, are present in small amounts in plants and oils. Whole grains, corn, and soy. High density lipoproteins, about 50% of the proteins. The rest of the compound is made up of lipids, including cholesterol. HDLs are high density because of their high protein content. And then you have the low density protein, about 22% of proteins, 50% cholesterol, and 20% of the lipids. LDLs transport cholesterol to the body cells that require it. And then it comes into chapter 16. The term dietary fats refer to triglycerides. 9 calories per gram, they are the most significant source of fuel for low to moderate levels of activity during rest and sleep. They also play a vital role in insulating the body's organs against cold and shock. Triglycerides. Triglycerides are compounds made of molecules called glycerol attached to 3 fatty acids. Okay, and their chemical structure is called saturated fats, which basically are derived from animal fats. Unsaturated fats are regions where carbon atoms are double bonded instead of the hydrogen, thus they are not saturated with hydrogen. They come from plants, are liquid room temperature, and then most in vegetable oils. Okay. Looking here. Trans fatty acids. For decades, Americans shunned butter, lard, other foods, used margarine and short and solid shortenings. Instead, what they didn't know is that these products were high in trans fat, which increases the risk for cardiovascular disease even more than saturated fats. Research during the past 2 decades has shown that consuming fats decreases the levels of HDL and increases the LDL, therefore risking altering the heart disease. So we gotta lower our cholesterol, eat more fatty fish, herring, mackerel, salmon, sardines, or tuna at least twice a week. Use olive oil, peanut, canola oils instead. Add green leafy vegetables, walnuts, walnut oil, and ground flax seeds to your diet. Okay, it suggests for you to also cook in coconut oil as well as an alternative as well. Follow the guidelines. Chill meat-based soups. Fill on fruits, whole creams. Choose lean meats. Choose fewer cold cuts. Bacon, sausage, and hot dogs. Vitamins are organic compounds that promote growth, needed in small amounts. It could be soluble or water soluble, fat soluble or water soluble. Okay, and it has a whole list of vitamins that we can take.